morning, YouTube. My name is Laura, and I'm a self-employed composer, pianist, and music teacher. I just wanted to take you through a typical day in my life as somebody who's self-employed. So I have a busy day ahead. I have a ton of practicing to do. I have 6 lessons to teach, which is more than I usually have, but I have a few makeup lessons today for people who missed lessons. And then I also have a 2-hour rehearsal tonight where I am accompanying a choir, just sight reading through their parts for them, and then also playing accompaniments for the pieces they're working on. So since I have such a busy day ahead, I decided to reward myself in advance by picking up coffee and breakfast from a coffee shop near me. And I'm going to bring it home and read the news and just start my day off in a relaxing way. So that way I'm in the right headspace to get through this very busy day. So I'm going to head over. So I got in some good practice time, and now I'm going to reward myself with a little break. I mentioned I went apple picking earlier this week. I just made it in time for the end of the season. It's early November right now, and I went to Carter Mountain Orchard in Charlottesville, which is absolutely beautiful. Great views. Since it was the end of the season, all the orchard had left were pink lady apples, which I think I like. I can't really remember. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to be baking them into a crumble. So I assumed I'd be making an apple pie after this apple orchard expedition, but I don't know. I just feel too intimidated by the prospect of making a pie. I don't know how to make the crust, which I think is the most difficult part. So I was very happy when I saw that the orchard had this apple crumble mix. So I bought some of this, and I think according to the package, you just peel and slice the apples and then kind of mix it in with this mix and some butter. So hopefully it's good. I'm going to give it a try. It is 9 p.m. and I finally get to enjoy my apple crumble. Not bad. I wish I heated it up just a little bit more, but not bad for someone who doesn't know what she's doing. So I barely survived rehearsal tonight. I have been falling behind on practice all week, and I was able to power through. I got through every piece, but honestly, I just did not know the pieces well enough. I should have just drilled them more. I ran out of time and tried to overcompensate by practicing long hours today, and it did not work. I really need to stay consistent in my practicing. I've kind of learned over the course of my adult life that if I'm doing well in one area or a couple different areas, then that probably means I'm letting things slide in another area. So when I first moved here, I was very, very committed to practicing, making sure my pieces were perfect all the time. And I think that came at the expense of my social life and even my employment a little bit. I was underemployed, and not from lack of interest from clientele. I just didn't advertise enough. I didn't really have the wherewithal to take on a ton of students because I was spending so much time practicing. So definitely other areas of my life suffered when I was very, very consistent with practicing, sometimes long hours. I've been like a little bit more lackadaisical with it lately, and I have a lot more piano students. I'm doing well financially, which well for me means not having to live like paycheck to paycheck. I'm obviously not making tons of money as a music teacher, but I'm at a point where I'm comfortable, which is not really the norm for me. Usually I'm kind of struggling to make ends meet. And I also have the beginnings of social life, but my practicing is suffering and my composing is suffering. So I need to find a balance, or at least shift off which area of my life is suffering, because I've kind of accepted, like, I'm not a robot. I can't do everything. Like, one area of my life is gonna be like subpar, and I'm just gonna have to accept it. Another thing I've been doing lately is training for my half marathon, so I think that's also been taking even more of my time away from practicing. So this next week coming up, I'm committing to being very, very diligent about practicing every day, not missing a single day. I also want to get back to composing because I missed an entire week of it. And I think that means I'm going to have to accept less social invitations. I can't believe I'm even saying that because I did not have any social life when I first lived here. But that might have to suffer for a bit. And I'm gonna, I think, dial back on the running too, which I've caught the running bug lately. Like, I really, really love my runs. I've been going on like 5-mile, 8-mile runs. I am ready for this half marathon. I'm gonna conquer it. But I think my training is basically done and I can dial that back so I have more time to practice. And also, I don't know, I'm trying to feel less bad about myself whenever I don't like live up to my expectations in every single like facet of my life. Like, if one area has to slide, I can't be perfect. So I'm learning to accept imperfection, but also just be smart about how I balance my time and not be too lackadaisical about any one area of my life. I need to make sure all the areas of my life get my attention, just maybe not all at once. So that is going to be all for today. Thank you for following me along and have an enjoyable rest of your day.